everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you to AAUW's Legacy and Impact event, where we will delve into the achievements and impact of fiscal year 2024, particularly highlighting the work detailed in our annual report. This event is especially intended for our longtime supporters, donors, and members. Our annual report serves as more than just a record of our achievements. It is a testament to the impact of your generosity and our collective work. This year, it is also a direct response to the feedback we received from our Greatest Needs Fund survey, which was sent to a sample set of AAUW's donors and supporters. You told us that transparency and clear communication about how unrestricted funds are used are essential. We created this report to provide that clarity, to show not only where your support goes, but how it fuels our ability to be agile, strategic, and effective in advancing gender equity. It's not just about numbers, it's about stories, about lives transformed, and about the future we are building together. I want to express my sincere gratitude for your unwavering dedication to AAUW's mission of advancing equity for women and girls. Your support is the foundation of our ability to make a tangible difference in the lives of countless individuals and communities. Tonight, we will reflect on the progress we've made together, even as we face significant challenges. We will review some key highlights from fiscal year 24, while also keeping an eye on the challenges ahead, including the new administration's policies that deeply impact women and girls. We will showcase how your support has fueled our efforts through the Greatest Needs Fund. This fund is critical to our work because it is an unrestricted fund, allowing us to be agile and responsive. We will discuss how AAUW has been empowering women through education, and we'll hear a personal story from an alumna showcasing the impact of AAUW's fellowships and grants. We will also look at the numbers, noting that last year we awarded $6.2 million to nearly 280 women, emphasizing our commitment to inclusion and our global reach. We'll also examine our strides in advancing economic empowerment. We'll look at the impact of our Work Smart and Start Smart programs, highlighting data that shows how these programs lead to a 44 to 62% confidence boost in negotiation skills. We will also discuss the importance of financial literacy in creating long-term economic security for women. Additionally, we'll be discussing our policy and our advocacy work. You'll hear about achievements such as our continued advocacy for the Equal Rights Amendment and voter engagement through the It's My Vote campaign. We'll also discuss our plans for fiscal year 25 and beyond, in a time when the administration, courts, and Congress are abandoning the government's legal commitment to ensuring inclusive and equal opportunity and access in schools and workplaces. Finally, we'll discuss our Legacy Circle. We'll examine the importance of planned giving and how our financial resilience helps ensure that AAUW can address any challenges that arise. Over $1.5 million in planned gifts have been received year to date in fiscal 25, supporting Greatest Needs and AAUW's fellowships and grants. Tonight, we also want to thank all of our generous donors who make all of our work possible. Your belief in our mission is what drives our success and strengthens our resolve to build a better future for women and girls. We are grateful to our partners and supporters for helping AAUW create lasting change. Looking ahead to fiscal year 25, we remain steadfast in our commitment to addressing the critical issues facing higher education. We will continue to leverage our strengths and work strategically towards a future where equity is a reality. Our resolve will be tested, and as a national organization, we are committed to focusing on our strategic priorities, which leverage our strengths. We will not back down. We will not give up because the stakes are too high. Thank you once again for being a part of the AAUW community. Now let's dive in and celebrate our shared legacy and impact.
Thank you, Gloria. Our next segment will focus on AAUW's impact through our Fellowships and Grants program. Before Hortensia leads us through this work, we'd like to share a video testimonial. This video testimonial is from Dr. Jamelia Harris, an AAUW American Fellow.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jamelia Harris, and I'm so honored to share how AAUW support shaped my journey. As a first generation college graduate and the first doctor in my family, receiving the AAUW Dissertation Fellowship was life changing. It allowed me to fully dedicate myself to completing my dissertation without the financial stress, making me one of the youngest in my PhD cohort at UCLA and among the first to finish my dissertation. My dissertation was later recognized nationally as a semifinalist for the American Education Research Association Qualitative Dissertation of the Year Award and has since secured a book contract. With this foundation, I've built a career that centers race and gender equity. I currently serve as the Senior Director of Research at Justice and Joy National Collaborative, where I lead research engagement for girls and gender expansive young people of color. I also founded Write Your Dissertation Sis as a coaching program dedicated to supporting Black women PhDs and navigating the challenges of completing their dissertation, securing funding, and establishing their research legacies. AAUW's investment in women's education is critical, especially in this moment when diversity, equity, and gender responsive programming are under attack. Many first-generation women, particularly Black women, face significant barriers to accessing the support needed to complete their degrees. And that's why fellowship like AAUW's aren't just support, they're a lifeline. I'm deeply grateful for this community, and I'm proud to not only be an AAUW fellow, but to have also mentored Black women PhDs in securing this very fellowship. Thank you so much to AAUW and to its supporters for ensuring that the next generation of women scholars can thrive.
I would now like to welcome Hortensia Ariano, Director of Fellowships and Grants. Welcome, Hortensia.
Thank you, Nadia, and hello, everyone. As Nadia said, my name is Hortensia Ariano. I'm the Director of Fellowships and Grants, and it's a real delight to be with you here this evening. So as the Fellowships and Grants team name implies, we hold the incredible honor and responsibility to oversee AAUW's investment in the dreams of women everywhere by alleviating financial burdens, unlocking opportunities for growth, and fostering a community where women support and empower one another. And each year, as I'm sure you know, AAUW supports hundreds of women, just like Dr. Jamila Harris, who are pursuing postgraduate education and career advancement, as well as grassroots organizations and AAUW branches implementing gender equity projects for women and girls. So during the 2024 fiscal year, as Gloria shared, $6.2 million was awarded to more than 250 women and 20 organizations from across the US and 43 countries. And I do have a slide to share with you just to give you a better sense of the nature and reach of our philanthropic giving. As you know, AAUW has a long and proud history in supporting women pursuing postgraduate studies. And during the last fiscal year, 41% of AAUW's fellowship supported women pursuing their first master's or professional degree. And 38% of our awards supported women pursuing research doctorates, like Dr. Jamila Harris. You'll also note that 10% of the awards we made were to women pursuing postdoctoral research. And finally, our publication grants accounted for 9% of our awardees. The purpose of our publication grants is to increase the number of women with academic tenure and to promote gender equity for women in higher education by providing funding to women in academia to prepare research manuscripts for publication. So that's a unique component of our academic of awards. And as you can see on the right here, there's a little snapshot of geographical reach for our community, for the organizations that we support who are implementing community-led programming for gender equity, namely for girls grades through K through 12. Our work touched 13 states, and we had 2 projects actually in Mexico in fiscal year 2024. I'm really pleased to also just note here that 45% of all of the awards that we made in FY24 were in support of women or organizations specifically working in STEM. So that's really exciting. And thanks so much for sharing the slide on my behalf, Nadia. I just wanted to conclude, as Gloria said, I think the numbers are really important to highlight and are very illustrative of our priorities. However, it's also not about the numbers, it's also about the stories. And so I'm actually, I'd like to just conclude my remarks this evening by sharing with you a thank you note that AAUW recently received from an awardee in compliment to Dr. Jamelia Harris's testimonial, because it was so incredibly beautiful. So here it goes. I think we're all deserving of hearing these gorgeous words. Dear AAUW, I'm writing to express my deepest gratitude for the scholarship I received. As a recipient from Tanzania, the AAUW scholarship to attend my Master of Engineering Management program at the University of Texas at Arlington was truly life-changing. Words cannot express how profoundly your investment has impacted my life. Because of your generosity, I was able to successfully complete my master's degree. This achievement opened doors I had only dreamed of, and I am now working as a project engineer at Al Smith USA, a multinational company. This incredible opportunity is a direct result of the education I was able to pursue thanks to your belief in me. The AAUW scholarship was more than just financial assistance. It was an act of faith that empowered me to reach my full potential. I am forever grateful for the impact AAUW has had on my life. Inspired by your dedication to gender equity, I am now committed to paying it forward. I am actively working to support women and girls in STEM, striving to create opportunities for others to achieve their dreams, just as you have done for me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for believing in me and for your unwavering commitment to empowering women from around the world. Your work truly makes a difference. So that was from a scholar named Pendo from Tanzania. She was an international fellow. And I just felt that those were such incredible, touching words to receive on behalf of AAUW. And I just wanted to be sure that you also had the benefit of hearing them. Just so I think it underscores how so beautifully the impact that these programs have made over so many years now. So grateful for your support and welcome any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Hortensia. Our next segment will cover advancing economic empowerment and membership. It's going to be led by Katrina Sunbreeze, our Director of Institutional Advancement, our Senior Director of Institutional Advancement. But before Katrina starts, we have a testimonial from Marjorie Fantolvo, a recipient of our Women's Economic Empowerment Training.
As a minority woman employed in higher education at a large public university, I acknowledge that my credentials and my compensations are not up to par. By taking this Work Smart Negotiations webinar, I am able to feel more confident in my ability and what I am worth when interviewing. It is important to know that less than 2% of tenured faculty and department heads identify as women from minority groups. I am confident that I can now address the pay disparity affecting women and underrepresented groups and can make a positive impact in my local community. After completing the Work Smart course on salary negotiation, I started applying for new positions, and I feel more confident in taking a career shift. I know what I am worth, and I will discuss it in my next interview and salary negotiation. The Work Smart negotiation webinar has equipped me with the necessary knowledge and gave me the confidence to not only share my insights, but also offer a presentation to college women and my colleagues. I highly recommend this session for anyone interested in teaching or presenting to student groups and to anybody in industry. Thank you very much.
I would now like to welcome Katrina.
Thank you, Nadia. And I was really thrilled to see Marjorie's testimonial and how the power of our salary negotiation workshops, our Women's Economic Empowerment Initiative has a trickle-down effect. It's not just those that are attending the workshops, it's those that are sharing information, becoming facilitators, and are able to really pass along all of that really impactful information. Marjorie mentioned the boost in confidence and really being able to show that we have up to 62% of an increase in confidence to the over 6,000 women that have taken our trainings over this past year was truly a testament to the quality of our programs. We consistently are rating over 90% satisfaction and beyond satisfaction, really. It's the participants are rating our workshops as excellent at over 90% and a 95% in terms of the quality of the facilitators. So on top of those that we were able to train over this past year, really due in large part and thanks to the donations from our members and our supporters over this past year for Greatest Needs Fund, we're able now to expand the training and support that we have been offering to students and faculty and staff at higher education institutions across the country, and also now inclusive of our AAUW membership. So this past year, we made some changes to the benefits to our college and university membership, which meant that now our salary negotiation workshops, our monthly Work Smart, Start Smart, and Money Start programming is available to every student, staff, and faculty member at our over 300 member campuses across the country. And what we're seeing that, and thank you, Alexander, for who are our campus partners, is that we're getting some really great feedback like that of Marjorie. We're also really happy to see that many of our members are also joining as we've opened up these workshops to our members. Even tomorrow, I'm going to be presenting with Deborah McCall on our team to the DC Mayor's Office on Women's Policy and Initiatives. And so we continue to really be really proud to leverage our Work Smart, Start Smart, and Money Smart programming across the country, both virtually and now in person, as we are back at it to our in-person meetings. But importantly, kind of going back to our members and the support that we're providing to our members through the expansion of these trainings to them, Greatest Needs and the support that we have gotten from our donors over this past fiscal year really help not only to fuel programs like our Women's Economic Empowerment Initiative, but also help us to strengthen the support that we're providing to our membership. Those of you that are familiar to me on today's call, it's been great to see so many state presidents, members of our committees and our board, and many donors that I am in touch with. I've been in the chat with Jean Dodds, and of course she's telling me about all of the great Legacy Circle recruitment she's doing in Northeast Tarrant County. I'm always really proud and excited to hear about her work there. And it's really due to the support that we have gotten, in addition to our dues, that we're able to provide support to our members and our branches. Some of the value that we've provided over this past year to our branches include certain communications support. So many of you are familiar with our website update project, in which we've now updated over 500 branch and state websites that are on our multi-site. And then also we've been providing site resources support without an additional cost to branches that are participating for the past 2 years. We've also, in addition to expanding our Money Smart, Start Smart, and Work Smart programming to our members, we're adding other valuable economic empowerment related programming that's available to our members, including an upcoming webinar on March 25th in partnership with the Social Security Administration on what every woman should know about Social Security. And we're adding these programs really to supplement some of the economic empowerment programming that we have. As we know, there is a variety of ways to be economically empowered, including having a better understanding of benefits that are available to you. In addition to programming and communication support, we've also continued to update the variety of toolkits and resources that are available online, including our DEI toolkits, our college and university member toolkits, and then also information that continues to help empower and educate our member leaders on how to effectively utilize Community Hub. Over the past few years, we've really made lots of investments in improving and streamlining Community Hub so that it can be more responsive to what we know are the needs of our members across the country. And also, following my segment, we'll be hearing about all of the policy and member advocacy support that we provide from a national office. And I won't steal Megan's thunder by talking more about that, but as we know, we have members across the country who feel very passionately about policy. Our branches are very much involved in a variety of policy activities across the country, and through your support, we're also providing help and assistance where we can in alignment with our strategic priorities. Lastly, we provide a variety of newsletters. You'll see over this past few months, we have made improvements to our newsletters, making them hopefully more focused and brief, but then also ensuring that we're working with our committees and a variety of our other member leaders to expand awareness about resubscribing and making sure that we can be more effective in our communications, and we continue to dedicate resources to improve our communications, both to our members, but then expand our reach out to other prospective member groups too. Lastly, we have, of course, our hardworking Connect team and the variety of other administrative support that we provide to our membership, whether that's filing 990Ns on behalf of our branches or our twice weekly office hours for member leaders. We're really working to ensure that we're as responsive as possible within the team that we have, but then of course the work that I do and that my team does in partnership with the Advancement Committee is in an effort to ensure that we're being responsive to feedback and are able to utilize a network of really engaged volunteer leaders. And lastly, so Connect wasn't the last thing, we have a variety of committees that the AAUW national team manages across a variety of topics, not just advancement. We also work very closely with the Legacy Circle liaisons. We work with our nominating committee, audit committee, inclusion and equity committee, and others to make sure that we are not only engaging our board members, but other members across the country in branches or national members as well, who have a commitment to being more closely involved with AAUW and can help inform how we do our work and engage our members across the country. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nadia and Megan and look forward to any questions that you have later in today's program.
Thank you, Katrina. So our next segment is policy and advocacy, as Katrina was saying. That's going to be shown by Megan Kissel, who is our Senior Director of Policy and Member Advocacy. But before Megan begins, we have a message from Marcy Leverins, which was filmed, but I do see that Marcy is here with us this evening. So thank you, Marcy. Marcy is a Lobby Corps and Legacy Circle member. So I will share her message now.
Hi, my name is Marcy Leverns. I've been an AAUW member for more than 50 years. I can't even believe it. For one thing, Lobby Corps, I'm not going to talk about what happened last year. I'm going to talk about something that was passed in 1993. It's the Family and Medical Leave Act. AAUW lobbied on that for years, and this has had such an impact on women's lives. Women who are the caregivers. I've been lobbying for over 20 years, and I always point to that. The original Family and Medical Leave Act has made a difference in women's lives. Not only because they can take leave, but they don't lose their jobs. I am just thrilled with this. The other thing I was asked to talk about was Legacy Circle. Y'all heard of paying stuff forward, where that's what Legacy Circle is. You don't have to give your whole estate. You can give some of your estate when you pass on. It can be designated in your will, trust, etc. This is so important. Once, when we were lobbying several years ago, we were in the senator from Kansas office, who's no longer in office, and there was a woman there who saw our AAUW Lobby Corps pins, and she came up and she said, "If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have finished my postdoc." This was and she was at that time a White House scholar, and she was very prominent in the agriculture area, entomology. And she said, when I have an appointment with the senator, because her lab was in Kansas, she said, and I'm going to tell him all about you. So this is more than just money. This is passing on good stuff to people we may not know, or to subjects we may not be familiar with, or areas of expertise. So please consider Lobby Corps and Legacy. Lobby Corps is so good. Sign up for that 2-minute activist. Call them, call them, call them. No matter what is happening now, call them. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Marcy. And thank you for being here this evening. Megan, I would welcome you now.
Thank you very much. And thanks to all of you. I've recognized several of your names and faces, and you really are the backbone of the advocacy work. So we basically exist because of the Greatest Needs Fund. So thank you to everybody and all of your donations. And as Legacy Circle members, truly my thanks for, quite frankly, believing in the difference that we will make not only now, but in the future. So thank you for that. And truly, Lobby Corps is a really good example of this. In FY24, Lobby Corps came back after being on a hiatus during COVID, and we really did make a difference. Lobby Corps members are the face of our members up on Capitol Hill. We had wonderful opportunities, for example, on the Equal Rights Amendment, for Lobby Corps members to go up to an office from a representative in Washington State. And then the Washington State representative asked our office if we could put them in touch with their constituents back in their district. And we did. We connected with our state public policy chair, but it's because we were able to support Lobby Corps, provide research-based information that they could go up to the Hill and feel confident in. And then we were able to make that connection with AUW members like yourself back in the district. So it really does go full circle, even when these aren't the things that you will usually hear about. And because of the support that we've been given, we've also, this year, I will keep talking about looking ahead as well as looking at the previous fiscal year. We've also been able to expand Lobby Corps both through a number of trainings last year. We recruited a number of more people who are in the DC area that have been able to come and join us, and that allows us to keep going. And we've also been able to this year move to going up twice a month We were going up monthly, now we're going up twice a month. Marcy, I appreciate how many steps you take up on Capitol Hill, because I'm not sure that my knees could take that. So thank you. Before I give a glance forward, I do want to also mention a couple of other things that happened in 2024, such as the election. The Greatest Needs Fund really helped us update and revamp the It's My Vote campaign. We had members around the country using our materials, using the issue guides that we shared with folks. And I did want to give a shout out to our, oh, I'm sorry, I just forgot her name, who was, I'm looking back, sorry, Marjorie. Thank you. When I saw Marjorie's face on the video, I didn't realize it at first, but Marjorie was actually one of the individuals who we had shared information with. She asked us for more materials and swag that she could use to engage her college community in terms of getting out the vote. So it was so fun to see her. So not only have we impacted her through our fellowships and grants work, she's impacted our work through her engagement and advocacy on campus. And that's the real connection that we make. There were issues that we didn't get as far across as we wanted to last year, such as the Equal Rights Amendment, but we're still fighting, even in the current environment. So I want to switch a little bit to where are we now? And I asked Nadia how much time I had, and I won't take up the rest of the meeting, but I did just want to highlight a couple of things. Even before this election, even before the inauguration, we were seeing higher education under attack from a policy perspective. We were seeing gender and racial equity under attack in institutions of higher education. So no surprise, that's where the focus has been. We're seeing attacks on civil rights in education. There are folks who know that one of my favorite topics, of course, is Title IX, but that is just, Title IX is one of several incredibly important civil rights laws that impact students from K-12, students in higher ed. We are really looking at what is happening on college campuses. We had real concerns about that now, as of yesterday, the now Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon. And we did not come out immediately in a knee-jerk reaction to oppose her nomination, but we really sat with it. We did our own independent research, looked at her record of what was there, made an independent decision, and really were very thoughtful about working with our members to drive thousands of letters and calls into the Senate. No, we weren't successful in blocking that nomination. The nomination went through last night. But now we are in a position where we are going to be holding the Department of Education accountable to its responsibilities to students. Its responsibility to protect civil rights for all students, to ensure that when students are in school, they have the opportunity to thrive. They feel included and supported, no matter who they are or what their background is. We're also going to keep fighting to make sure that students have access to affordable higher education. As many of you may know, we're going into budget season with unusual time to go into budget season with Congress. But that's where we are, and we really are looking at the potential for some significant cuts to things like Pell Grants, a potential revision of public service loan forgiveness, a potential end to graduate student loans. This is where our fight will be continuing. And it's because of your support that we're able to continue this. We're able to provide research-based information that we base our decisions on. We will be providing this year even more resources to our members and our branches so that they can be effective advocates. I don't know about all of you, but I've had a moment once or twice where it felt like there was nothing I could do except scream at the television. I might be doing some of that later tonight. And then we have to get up the next day. And we have to get up the next day and figure out where we can be effective. And I know that AUW has an amazing history of being effective in educational advocacy, in fighting for gender equity. And the stars are really aligned right now for us to be in that moment. So as I mentioned, we'll be providing from the policy perspective more training opportunities on how to be an effective advocate, what individuals at the branch, state, and national level can do so that we can have an impact. And I want to thank again folks like Marcy, who are consistently there with us on Thursday mornings with Lobby Corps, because even when so many people have felt overwhelmed about the current political environment, we know that making those visits, making those calls, sending those letters is making a difference when we are speaking with one voice and moving forward together. So, Marcy, I'll see you on Thursday, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Megan. Our final segment this evening is an overview of our FY24 finances from Shannon Wolf, Managing Director and Chief of Staff. Welcome, Shannon.
Thank you, Nadia, and great to see everybody tonight. Lots of really familiar names and faces, so lovely to be with you. I don't have a fun video to prepare my budget talk tonight, but I wanted to start off by really acknowledging and recognizing the value of the Legacy Circle and planned giving at AAUW. Nadia, if we could put slide 16 up, that would be amazing. Planned giving is exceptionally important to AAUW. Most nonprofits do not budget for planned giving on an annual basis, but because of the scope of AAUW's Legacy Circle program, we do. It is unusual in our space, and we are so grateful that we have the opportunity to do that. So as you're seeing on this slide, what you're seeing here is exactly what you'll see in the annual report if you flip on over to that on our website. But what you're seeing in this left-hand column here, left-hand side of the slide in terms of the pie chart, are our various revenue sources. So as you might know, we have a fairly large endowment, and that's what we mean when we say investments on the left-hand side. It's our endowment and other investments, and that's a very large portion of our annual revenue. But second to our investments is the contributions and sponsorship money that comes in every year from members like you. And of this number here, where we see contributions and sponsorship in the navy blue on the right-hand side of that pie chart of $5.7 million, 2.6 million of that last year was from planned giving. And that is a very, very important number for us and something that we should all be really, really proud of. As I said, most nonprofits don't budget for planned giving, and the reason for that is because it can be quite inconsistent if you don't have a very robust program. You don't know when those gifts might be realized, since they're bequests or trusts, estates, things like that. But because we have such a large network of Legacy Circle members, and I really want to shout out our Legacy Circle volunteers who do so much work to make sure that this group of folks really sticks with us and with the organization. This is a really important part of our overall revenue picture, as you can see here. So I'd like to get a little more specific in terms of greatest needs. I'm sure you've heard us talk about the importance of greatest needs many times, but it really is important for a number of reasons. As Megan just talked about, greatest needs does support the work of the policy team. And greatest needs is really funds that we can use for any purpose that we see fit. It is different than restricted funds that come into the organization that can only be used for the purpose for which they are given. So, for example, fellowship money that comes in, if somebody says, I want to support fellowships, we can only use those funds for that fellowship. We cannot use those funds for Megan's work in policy. We cannot use those funds to support member services. We must use those funds for fellowships. Nadia, could we switch to slide 17, please? So in terms of what greatest needs funds actually support, I want to look at the left-hand side of this slide. Again, these charts are available within the annual report. And what you're seeing here are annual expenses, or for FY24, by department. And so greatest needs, very specifically, funds our our advancement and membership team. So this is sort of the lighter teal in the upper right-hand corner. It supports our public policy and member advocacy, which is sort of the other teal category. It supports our communications and external affairs, which is the orange on the upper side of the pie chart. And it also funds some of our administration and occupancy, and that's the percentage of those funds from the overall budget. So as you can see, that is a very large portion of what our budget is. Our fellowships, grants, and programs are funded through restricted funds, but everything else essentially has to get funded through greatest needs, excuse me. So that's why greatest needs is so important to us. It really does support Megan's work, the work of the lobby corps, everything we're trying to do on the advocacy side, as well as member support services. We are very grateful for dues revenue that comes into the organization, but dues does not cover the entire cost of member support. So we really need those greatest needs contributions that will enable us to provide all of the services that we can, and the advocacy work that we're quite known for. So as a result, we are just very grateful for all investments in greatest needs. We're grateful for any funds that come into the organization, and legacy circle giving can be restricted or unrestricted, can be greatest needs, or it can be restricted to a certain area. And all of those gifts are very valued and welcome at the organization. We just need to understand on an annual basis, we do need to have a certain amount of greatest needs money coming into the organization so that we can pay for all the member support that you need to be successful in your branch work. I also just wanted to talk about a few things related to transparency. Since I've been at AAUW, we have made some real efforts and dedication to being transparent about our finances. We do that through a couple of different ways, and we try to be as transparent as possible when it comes to our finances. So you may get information on AAUW finances from outreach from the advancement committee, maybe something that you hear from our finance committee. We do a finance update every year in our state conventions, state and regional conventions, as we're having more regional conventions these days, which is wonderful. We also have a lot of information on our website. So when you're going to any website, whether it's AAUW's or another nonprofits or even a for-profit company, most of the time you can find financial information under the About Insert Name of Company website, and our website is no different. So if you go to About AAUW, there is a section for financial information, and there we keep 3 years of budgets, we keep 3 years of audited financials, and we keep 3 years of tax returns. A lot of information. If you've ever read a nonprofit tax return, got to tell you, there's a lot of stuff that probably is going to be pretty boring to look at. You're welcome to look at it all. It's all public information. But if you're going to look at one thing, I would recommend taking a look at the annual budget. That's going to give you that snapshot that's going to be most like what you're seeing in the graphs that we just showed and that are available in the annual report. So we have been working very hard to get AAUW to a financially sustainable place. And I know that that process and its impacts have not always been super pleasant for our membership. But these efforts have been necessary to make sure that AAUW is on solid financial footing. And I'm just super, super grateful to all of you for your continued support. As I said, the Legacy Circle is extremely important to AAUW, as are donations to Greatest Needs and any donations and contributions to the organization. Without you and your contributions, this organization cannot do the work that is so vital and necessary, particularly at this point in time. So I just want to express my gratitude to all of you for your continued support to AAUW.
Thank you so much, Shannon. We now have some time for some questions. So if you have questions, please either raise your hand or type your questions in the chat, and I can call on you if I see your hand raised.
I'm on the California board, and we're looking at a dues increase ourselves. I was a few minutes late. Did you discuss the number of our members that don't pay dues? And the impact that has on our budget? That's as many of us have stayed and stayed and stayed, I'm an MBL, but 25% about seem to be MBHL.
I can take that on in terms of giving some information. Maybe Shannon, you can back up on anything that I might have missed. We have about over 41,000 members of AAUW. And Nadia, I don't know if you can pull up this slide 12, just that we have that visual. We have a snapshot of membership in our annual report. So we have over 41,000 members. And over about 6,000 of them are honorary lifetime members. So those are members that are non-dues paying, 50 years plus of membership, and growing as well. Each year we have more honorary lifetime members. And then also you'll see the statistic we have, that we have over 7,000 member donors contributing 1.4 million. I'll say that our honorary lifetime, paid lifetime members are certainly very generous to AAUW. They're very likely to make gifts and be a part of the Legacy Circle. But you are right, and I think someone else in the chat had mentioned too, that, we'd love for more of our honorary lifetime members who are no longer paying dues to make contributions. But we also know that honorary lifetime free membership has been a way for the national office to also give thanks to members who have, made such a dedicated effort. But it is true that we do have a bit of a budget impact when we're looking at total dues revenue and the number of members, which is quite significant, over 6,000 that are honorary lifetime.
Right. And those of us that went ahead and did paid lifetime, it does mean, it does come out to basically what I was saying, percentage-wise, of people that aren't contributing to the annual. What I've been trying to use, that as, it costs more to buy a latte than to have this dues increase. And, we need it. It's
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And I really liked this a lot, by the way.
Thank you.
That it came up, and we are putting it out in our state newsletter and board-to-board message as we speak.
Thank you. Also appreciate you being the first person to ask a question. And that's always, who's going to be the first person to raise their hand? I really appreciate it.
So, Katrina, we had a question in the chat that I'm interpreting as how AAUW will cope with cutbacks to federal funding. I'm assuming that's the question, but please, Karen, if you have more specific guidance for us, let me know. But just to clarify for everybody here, AAUW does not have any sort of significant federal funding. So cutbacks for programs that you may be hearing about in other areas do not affect AAUW. That also is helpful to us because it allows us to then not be subject to a lot of the Title IX and other rules that colleges and universities are subject to. So this comes up often when we're talking about scholarship funds and the fact that colleges and universities have a lot of restrictions about not being able to give scholarships for gender-specific scholarships. AAUW does not have that restriction because we are not federally funded. So if in case that comes up for you with other discussions you're having with members, if people are worried that we're going to have cuts because we're not getting money from a federal agency of some kind, that isn't a thing for us. So I want to alleviate that concern if that is one.
And Shannon, if I could just add on to that too, I've heard from a number of people who are concerned about some of the executive orders and what that would mean even for advocacy work. And I want to share that it doesn't. For the same reasons that Shannon just mentioned, we are not, an executive order is not a law. It is trying to influence a lot of things, but it does not override existing law and existing court precedent. And we're going to continue to say all of the words, and we are going to continue fighting the fight for equity. which we have been doing for decades, if not our entire time. So for so many folks, some of whom may be in your states and branches who have those concerns, please let them know this is not the time that we are backing down.
Toby, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm a multi-year member of AAUW, was a life member and now an honorary life member, also a member of the Legacy Circle and multiple branches in California. My questions pertain to the hub. And I have heard about that there have been improvements, but there still is a long way to go as far as branch is concerned. As a fund VP, there's the frustration of not getting the report at the end of the following month. And in terms of who has contributed, I would like to see it to be more timely in receiving information about our members who have donated to the fund. Additionally, membership-wise, in terms of the columns, what's missing, and in talking to Angie over the years, Angela Cooper, is a column for branch membership. So when it comes time to renewal, we know that members have a particular date, but we don't know if they have actually paid branch dues. This is for regular branch members, this is for lifetime members, this is for honorary life members, and we only know that they have renewed their dues again at the end of the following month, which is also not timely and creates extra work for membership VPs to follow up, especially now when people have their renewals throughout the year. Please update me about when some of these changes that we might see.
Thank you, Toby. While I can't at this point give you an update on all the items that you mentioned, I definitely know, of course, you've been in touch with Angie quite a bit. Many, if not all of you on this call today have probably been in touch with our Connect team to really help support. The past few years with Community Hub has certainly been a journey. We had a really highly customized MSD platform that folks were really accustomed to working with over many years, and the effort to combine many systems into one and really have it be working for all of our branches as best as possible has certainly been a journey. Over the past few years, we've made improvements, and those are certainly based on the issues that rise to the top. And certainly what's been really helpful is all of the feedback we continue to get about how we can really make those processes better and more responsive to your respective roles, whether that's as a membership VP or a funds chair. Definitely continue to share the feedback. I regularly participate in meetings where we discuss any and all of our member experience or internal issues so that we can prioritize where continued investments and improvements are made. I'll say too that we also concurrently have internal conversations about changes to business processes and streamlining so that we're able to effectively manage, what hundreds of branches across the country are doing to support their members, and do that in a way that meets as many of the needs as possible, while also ensuring that we're able to do things like close our financial books in the time that it takes in order to reconcile them, but make sure that we can be as timely as possible. So I definitely hear your feedback, Toby. We'll continue to bring it back to Tremaine, Angie, and all of our team working with Community Hub. And I know that we'll see many of you in office hours and in Angie's inbox as well. And all I can really say at this point too is that having the information about what we can do to really support our member leaders and their work is really important, that we can continue to invest time in making it better. So I'm happy with the progress we've made, but as with the fight for equity and all things policy related, sometimes the work continues. And I think unfortunately, or fortunately, it's just the reality too of platforms, and we'll continue to strive to make it better. So thank you.
I think we have time for one last question. Donna, I see you have your hand raised.
It wasn't a question as much as that a few months ago, they started sending the membership and finance people the renewals as they occur. So when you renew online, there is a renewal notification that you receive for that member. So if you're not getting that, you might want to find out from Angie why, because that has been a huge help. You can also sort within the hub. If you sort by the end date, you can instantly see where people are falling and whether they're in grace or they're upcoming. And there's some really cool sorts in the renewal section. So anyway, that's a little 2 cents on that. I've been working with Angie on it from the get-go, as many of you have.
Thank you. So to conclude this evening, I just wanted to thank everyone for joining us this evening. A special thank you to all of our speakers, and a thank you to you for being here tonight, our members and our donors who make this work possible. Our final part of the evening are breakout rooms. So you're welcome to stay. We'll be on for about 15 more minutes if you'd like to connect with other people, other members and donors from around the state, and talk about what you've heard this evening or just connect. But before I do that, I would just like to share and acknowledge our Legacy Circle liaisons. These are our Legacy Circle liaisons. They help us create these events. These events are their ideas. As a result of their ideas and as a result of the feedback that you provide us at the end of these events. If you are not a Legacy Circle member yet, you can connect with one of the liaisons in your state. If you're a state president, please connect with your liaison. They will be very helpful in any Legacy Circle recruitment that you do. I will also send this out to the attendees after the event. But again, we're ending this evening with a chance to connect in breakout rooms. So we're going to randomly assign breakout rooms so you can connect with other members. My colleague should be setting up the rooms now. And when the time comes, I will close the rooms, bring you back to the main space. And when you leave the call this evening, if you're leaving before the breakout rooms or after the breakout rooms, you'll also receive a survey. Please take a moment to fill that out so that we can continue to improve these events and provide information that's helpful to you. But again, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. And I hope you either enjoy your evening or you enjoy your breakout room. And thank you for being here.